Hi, this is Dawn, also known as Mama Love with Metal Wani, and I'm here with Tommaso from FLESHGOD Apocalypse. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us today. I really appreciate it. So you're currently on tour with Carrick Angren, did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah.
Okay, and Abigail Williams.
Yep.
So how's it going so far?
Great. We had a crazy start on the 70,000 Tons of Metal tour.
Oh wow.
Yeah, on the cruise. So that was like already a blast. I mean, I've never been there, and it was really strange and nice at the meantime to start with something so different like that. And then, so far so good, we're having a sold-out show tonight. We already had a couple on the last 3 shows, and it looks like probably tomorrow is going to be sold out to the Gramercy in New York, so couldn't be better than this.
Awesome. I trust you didn't have any bad weather on your cruise.
No, we actually did.
Oh, really?
On the way back, and it was pretty risky because we were right on the side of a tropical storm, and like the twin ship of the one we were on, they got into the storm, and I saw video, like everything was kind of destroyed inside, and we got like on the edge. So the last night was pretty tough, and they had to close the pool stage at the last day because of the wind.
Yeah.
So, but that was just the last day. I mean, all the rest of the cruise was amazing, of course, and definitely warmer than here.
Yes, I can imagine so.
Yeah.
So your new album, King, is already out worldwide. How are the fans responding live?
For now, it's crazy. We had a great response since the beginning with the press, a lot of good reviews and stuff, and of course we've been like spamming between friends. Everybody was like super stoked about it, and now it looks like people is really appreciating. I see a lot of good comments. Of course, there's critics, but that's normal. There's always. But I see that it's spreading really fast, and people are acting really good. And also, we're playing a few songs from the new one on the live show, so we're still obviously testing because the first day is always like that. But it's coming out really good, and I see that also. I mean, at the beginning, it's always like there's people who obviously still didn't listen enough to the album to know everything. So you see that, of course, there's some songs that they know perfectly, and some others that just paying attention to see what's going on. But I already see that there's a very good response for the new songs. I mean, the songs have also been thought for the live shows a lot. So we obviously structured everything to make it work, and knowing also, basing on also our experience to make the best out of the show, and it's working really well.
Good. How many of the new songs you're playing live?
We're playing 2 now. Yeah, we didn't want to start with too many because we know that it takes a little time for people to digest the new song, so we don't want to push it too much at the beginning. But it's cool because it's our very first headlining tour in the U.S. and Canada, so I mean, I think it's really good that you're presenting some of the most important of the songs of the new album, but you're still having like a very complete set where we're playing stuff from any album we put out, so it's really nice.
Right. With operatic vocals, orchestral samples, and complex arrangements in your music, how much of a challenge is that to play live?
It is. We spend a lot of time on that because we really care about the theatrical aspect of the show, and that, like, the visual side of our music is really important for us, starting from the video clips to the live shows, and we always reinvest to improve the live show. So that also means that we don't just settle on the fact that, okay, we have to play hard songs, so we're just staying still and playing. No, of course not. We're trying to put up and show and be as crazy as possible, even though we're playing that music. So that obviously takes a lot of rehearsal and also like personal improvement on the instruments. But it took a while to get there. Now we're having our standard, and we're trying to push it up and up as much as possible. That's the good thing. Hopefully we have an entire career in front of us, so we'll try to get better and better on that because it's really important for us to make the difference on the show.
FLESHGOD Apocalypse has combined death metal and classical music seamlessly, and they complement each other so well in the new music. How would you describe the relationship between the 2 genres, the death metal and classical aside from similar melodic progression?
Yeah, I mean, I think that one of the things that made actually these two music similar in some ways is that both of them are extremely dramatic. A lot of the classical music is extremely dramatic and actually heavy. So I mean, if you go back in time and think what could be the impact of some operas that have been put out during the 19th century, for example, or also some stuff at the beginning of the 20th, because we really like also like Mahler, who was like right in between the two centuries. It should sound extremely heavy because it is extremely dramatic, and that's why I think that this mix is something that on one hand, of course, there's more romanticism in the music that we play compared to like death metal in the true meaning of the word, like just guitars and bass. But on the other hand, for some reason, on some parts it gets heavier, in my opinion, because it's like more grandiose, more it has like a wider spectrum of sounds, so of course it gets heavier in some points. And besides that, I think especially now we are really building up a sort of crossover between many things. I mean, I don't even think that we are playing only death metal anymore. It starts to be something else, and it feels good. We like to experiment and to just let our flow go and try to see what happens, because we're not scared about choosing. So I mean, that's just a continuous challenge, and we really like the fact that it seems like at this point our music is becoming more than the sum of the elements.
It takes a special person to think of classical as heavy, because it's so totally different styles.
Yeah, it is, but as you see, like there's way to combine it, and that means that there have to be things in common. But the cool thing is that on one hand there are things in common, but on the other hand it is true that there's also a lot of contrast. But contrast is usually what makes music good music. So we really try to work on the contrast, because that's something that I really think that people love, because it is something that is able to bring you into a different atmospheres and different dimensions, because music is all about tension and release. So if you're able to like open the music and like let the melody go in and then go back to like dissonant and heavy riffing, that's something that gives a lot of dynamic of the songs, and that's what we've been searching for a long time. And what we are really proud of is the fact that King is actually the most dynamic album that we have, also the most various album. There's many different moments into the music, and that's something we're trying to push towards, because we really think that it is beautiful to have something that is something. There are songs into it, but also it's a story, and you're going through a story both on the albums and during the live show.
Right. Do you think there's any other genres or subgenres that have the flexibility to allow it to be pushed to the extreme like you've done between death metal and classical?
I mean, I think that in different ways every music genre has its elasticity, and artists throughout history have been showing that you can really mix things that you could think were unmixable before doing that. So I think it's just a matter of music itself, the way it's done. You can do whatever you want with music. The only thing is that you have to be able to have the technical composition abilities to be able to put it together in a way that really sounds good, because that's all about the arrangement, that's all about the thinking that there is behind the music, because you cannot just put them together and they work. You just have to understand, every time you're mixing things, you have to understand which are the mechanisms behind that. It is very similar to singing, indeed. We're from Italy, so we know that, of course. And I'm really interested into cuisine, for example, and you see that it's exactly the same thing. Like there are different elements that sometimes you think they could never combine, but it's a matter of chemistry. If you know the chemistry, you can actually push things to the limit and bring out something that is completely incredible when you say it, but when you taste it, it makes sense.
Right.
So that's the point.